Hello, welcome to our series through the book of Psalms. Thanks for checking it out. This is Psalm 25. If you have missed any of the ones before, please go back and look at them, especially 23 and 24. I kind of did 23 through 25 together as a block, so they really work well together. Take a moment right now to like and subscribe, really helps out the channel, and leave a message of some kind because that even I don't know, it does something to put it on more feeds. My name is Pastor David Hopper, and we're going to jump in with 25. If Psalm 23 is the intimate song of the wilderness, and Psalm 24 is the thundering anthem of the fortress, what we studied last time, Psalm 25 is the gritty, raw map of the crossroads of life. While we love the visual of a victorious king marching into a city, King David knew that the real life is rarely this continuous victory parade. We wish it were, and we're always surprised when it's not. But more often, it's this confusing maze where we are forced to face our own mistakes. Our enemies whisper, and that paralyzing fear we have of making a wrong move. That's real life. And when David penned Psalm 25, he wasn't standing on a mountaintop, he was likely in a valley of crisis. Written as an acrostic poem where each stanza begins with a consecutive letter of the Hebrew alphabet, this psalm represents a structured, intentional discipline of prayer when everything around him felt chaotic. It's the prayer of a man who realizes he has lost his way and needs a guide more than he needs a crown. Divine direction is not a GPS coordinate for an easy life. It's a relationship with a trustworthy guide. True guidance doesn't come from knowing the future. It comes from knowing, trusting, and waiting on the character of the one who holds it. I'll be summarizing a lot of this chapter. Let's start with verses 1 through 3. In you, Lord my God, I put my trust. And then it later says, do not let me be put to shame, nor let my enemies triumph over me. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a high, unstable cliff during an earthquake. You're terrified, as you should be, and you reach out into the dark and you grab onto a handrail. There happens to be a handrail there. Now, if that handrail is made of a flimsy plastic and you can just feel like it's going to break, your anxiety skyrockets. The thing you were going to hold on to is breaking in your hand. But if your hand grips a solid, deeply anchored steel beam, you breathe a sigh of relief. The earthquake hasn't stopped, but you can trust what you're holding on to. Your anchor has changed. Your anchor is strong. So David begins this psalm by saying, to you, Lord, I lift my soul. The word lift here is the visual of holding out an empty container. David isn't bringing God a list of his own achievements or a bulletproof plan that he's got going forward. He's lifting this vulnerable, exhausted self, saying, here I am, Lord. I'm empty and I need you. I'm in the earthquake and I'm looking for that solid foundation. Here, here's that moment where he is terrified of shame, which in the ancient world wasn't just internal emotion, but a public, devastating ruin of reputation. You see it all the time with David. The reality check is that we do, this immense anxiety today because most of the time we're probably holding onto the wrong handrail. We lift our souls to a strong bank account and hold on to it with everything we've got. My job review, my job performance, the approval of others, how I look, my reputation. When life shakes, and it will shake, we panic. And David reminds us that trust isn't the absence of trouble, it's choosing a still anchor in the middle of the quake. What are you holding on to? Verses 4 and 5. Show me your ways, Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. For you are God, my Savior, and my hope is in you all day long. Now, again, picture you're in this dense, you know, like jungle, right? Let's think about a jungle at midnight. It's scary. You can hear lots of noises. You have two options. Someone can hand you a map, thank you very much, or a seasoned elite wilderness guide can step up and say, "Hey, I'll lead you through this jungle, step where I step." The map, thank you. Now you have to figure out all of life on your own, how to get out of here. A guide ensures your survival, ensures you're going to make it, leads you the whole way. Which one do you want? That's the question we're given in life. Which one do you want? A lot of people choose the map. I'm like, you can have the guide. David uses three distinct travel words here. Ways, that's like broad highways, if you will. Pass, that's narrow, rugged trails. And then guide, the active movement of walking with someone. David isn't asking God for a blueprint of his life for the next 5 years. He isn't asking for the map. Show me the map. I just want to know where I'm going. He says, I want the guide to guide me through everything that's coming. He wants to know how God operates, his character, his heart, his rhythm. He wants to move in step with God. The standard This standard requires something modern cultures hate: waiting. David says his hope is in God all day long. I wait on my Lord. I wait on my guide. He leads me. We live in a culture of instant downloads, overnight deliveries. We want God's direction in our microwave timeline. But God is not a vending machine for good advice and next steps. He is a teacher forming a student. Sometimes the waiting is the path because it strips away our self-reliance and teaches us to listen to the voice over the noise in our life. Summarizing verses 6 through 11. Remember, Lord, your great mercy and love. And then skip a little bit. Do not remember the sins of my youth and my rebellious ways. For the sake of your name, Lord, forgive my iniquity. Though it is great, my iniquity is great. Think of a courtroom and the defense attorney stands up and begins to defend his client. All right. And the attorney in that moment, he doesn't argue, he's a really good person. At the heart, he wants to make the right decisions. The attorney does not say that. Instead, what the attorney points to is a signed, legally binding covenant of total amnesty and says, you have to release him. You must release him. Not because of who he is, but because of the contract you signed. And that would be Jesus Christ on the cross. In this section, David, he's playing this brilliant game of remember the contract. Remember, with God, he asked God to remember his own ancient mercy, begs him to forgive him of his reckless sins of all of his youth. This feels incredibly bold, right? Almost hypocritical. How can David ask for guidance, guide me, while simultaneously admitting he has completely messed up? Please don't look at my youth. Because David understands a profound spiritual legal loophole. God's reputation is on the line, not David's. He writes, for the sake of your name, Lord, forgive. If God only guided perfect people, the path would be empty. David doesn't minimize his sin. He explicitly calls it great. I have a lot. But he realizes God's grace is greater. When you feel too broken, too compromised, too hypocritical to ask God for help, Psalm 25 flips the script. You don't approach God based on your track record. You approach him based on his track record for his sake. Verses 12 through 22. Who then are those who fear the Lord? He will instruct them in the ways they should choose. My eyes are ever on the Lord, for only he will release my feet from the snare. And that was condensing the whole thing down to just a few sentences. To understand this finale, though, imagine walking through a field that you know is rigged with hidden hair trigger bear traps. If you spend the whole time staring at your feet, trying, like paralyzed in fear, trying to spot those traps, you're eventually going to fall into one. You eventually will fail. You'll trip, something will happen. The only way to survive is to lock eyes with the guide and step where the guide steps. That's how you get through the minefield. David closes the psalm by talking about the snare, the traps set by his enemies, his circumstances, his own anxiety. He lists it all off there. We just summarized our way through it. His instinct is to obsess over all the traps. He makes a radical choice, but I'm going to keep my eyes on the guide. My eyes are on the Lord. He shifts his gaze from the complexity of his problems to the majesty of his protector. And he notes that God instructs those who fear him in the Bible. Fearing God doesn't mean cowering in the corner from a tyrant, it means this deep, jaw dropping reverence. It's like standing in the awe of the power of the ocean. You respect it. You respect its weight, its scale, its authority. When you have a healthy fear of God, your fear of everything else, poverty, failure, rejection, your enemies, shrinks. Many of us are looking at that. We look at our traps. We stare at our bank account, our broken relationships, our medical diagnosis. Um, we wonder how we're ever going to get through it. Psalm 25 is a gentle hand reaching under your chin, lifting your face up and saying, keep your eyes on the guide. Stop trying to outsmart the traps. Keep your eyes on the one who knows the steps to take. Let him lead you step by step all the way home. Man, I hope this was helpful. Take a moment to like, hit the subscribe, share this with someone. Tell me in the comments how this moved you or affected you. I would love to hear your feedback, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.